Welcome everybody. We're gonna have a conversation. We kind of started before this, but before we get into it, we're gonna introduce ourselves. I'm gonna do something I never do. I will introduce myself first because Angela's like Michelle. So hey everyone, my name is Michelle Jackson. I am a content creator. I run the project Creators Getting Paid. I interview content creators and I ask them how they make money. I am so freaking excited about tomorrow's newsletter edition because I actually spoke with Nikki Payne. If you're a romance reader, you know who she is, but she's one of 8 authors who did a collaborative Kickstarter campaign where they've made just under $1.4 million. $1.4 million. I cannot wait to share this conversation with you. That will be tomorrow. I live in Denver. And I also have a project about Colorado. So if you're ever like, I want to visit Denver, but I'm not sure about them because I've been watching that stupid show, Love is Blind, and I think they're all scary. You can talk to me and I'll send, info over. We're not as crazy as you think. Angela?
Hey guys, I'm Angela. I write 2 newsletters. Please Hustle Responsibly, which is a newsletter community for creative entrepreneurs who want to learn, connect, and grow. That one gets sent a couple times a week. I also write Melanin MVP, which just hit 200 subscribers. So thank you if you're one of them. But if not, and you like women's sports and you're an everyday athlete, meaning you're a runner, a cyclist, a hiker, you play basketball, you play soccer with your friends, you play volleyball, whatever, please join us over on Melanin MVP. You can find both of those here on Substack. And I just released my first signature product, if you will, Community OS, which stands for Community Operating System. So if you're looking to build a community around your business, this is the course for you. Corey, what's up?
What's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it was my phone. My earphones making a weird noise. Why is it when I get on the call with y'all, I get all these technical difficulties? Um, my name's Corey Gums. I'm the founder of the Black Podcast Association and Black Pod News. That's blkpodnews.com right here on a newsletter right here on Substack. Sitting board member of AIR. And I made a list today, y'all. I'm on a list
Oh,
of some of the people defining podcasts. That was a direct response to some of those lists that was showing up during International Podcast Week, and they were very not diverse lists.
uh-oh.
Okay. I've seen a
So I'm
couple of them and I
excited.
was also not happy, but whatever.
So I'm excited about that because I made a list so I could brag now. My imposter syndrome went out the window today.
That's good.
But yeah, that's
I need you to share a link to the list in the chat
oh boy.
because
Okay,
I didn't see the
I'll do
list. I
this.
believe it, but I need to see it too. So,
Okay, I don't mind.
um, so welcome everyone. We last week, so a little context. We have been going live since February of this year. So basically weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the time of the year. So we basically with Shh, we're talking, we discuss different topics around the creator economy as we perceive them, as we experience them. Last week we talked about high ticket products, and if you go to either any of our feeds, you would probably be able to find the recording for last week where we talked about high ticket products. Angela and I felt like over $1,000 would be like a high ticket product, but anywhere from like 300 to 1,000 would be like um mid tier, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then anything under 300 is low ticket. So today we thought we would, really talk about low ticket products. Thank you so much, Corey. Low ticket products, the role that they could have in your product stack. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about the economy as it relates to our thinking around developing these types of products. I think before we do that, we're going to very briefly talk about a an event that happened this weekend, whose name I cannot believe I just brain farted on. You know the name of the event, Corey.
Culture.
That
Culture Con.
yes, CultureCon. So before we get into the low ticket conversation, we're going to very quickly talk about CultureCon, and then we'll go from there. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to actually have Corey talk about CultureCon because he's the person who lives in the city where it happens. It doesn't mean that he's gone. It just means he lives in New York. So what's your perception of what CultureCon is, and what is some of the like chatter that you've heard around that event?
Um, I've never been, so this is all purely hearing from third party or second party, whatever the definition is. Um, it seems to be turning into a big event here in New York now. So I think it's been going on for a couple of years. Seems like every year it's getting a little bigger and bigger. Um, they hosted it in the Navy Yard in downtown Brooklyn, so that's
Ooh,
typically a good
okay.
sign.
Yeah.
Um, where I like to hang out and do work at, there was a lot of people at that particular hotel that came into town for it, so it was good seeing that. Um, so I have a person who I met with today who went there, and basically she was saying it was kind of like your typical conference experience. Um, Information wise, she was looking for more in depth information, but it just seemed like very surface level, very celebrity driven, fashion driven. Like I cracked in our email discussion, I was like, I don't think I was fashionable enough to attend, but from all the pictures and videos I was seeing from people that I know that went there and or that that's showing up on social media. But I think it was like your typical uh conference experience. Also, another person I know said the activation, like there was long lines
Mm.
getting into the place took a long time to get into. So um the chatter on social media that I've seen has been varied from like, oh, this was cool, I enjoyed it, or some people just had certain complaints about either content or the actual experience part. Um which I guess for me, the idea of if you've suffered from long lines and stuff like that is possibly because it's a bigger turnout, right? Like you just you think you're ready for whatever crowd is coming in, but you realize it's a bigger crowd. But I don't know, like I've never attended, so I couldn't really tell you how they have it set up.
Can I jump
Angela,
in?
what about you?
Yeah. A couple of things. This honestly, I've never been to CultureCon. I've wanted to go just because of the people that I've seen grace the stage who are, in my mind, more celebrities. They are your Z-Ways, your Issa Rays, your Speedy Mormons, people like that. And I think there are two types of conferences. There are your Essence Fest, your CultureCon, your Afro Tech that are more entertainment focused with some networking opportunities. And by that, I mean more social focused opportunities, so opportunities to meet more people and casually network, but not maybe as structured networking as other conferences. But then you have like your podcast movement, you know, et cetera, that are a little more formal. Speakers are vetted. They're, a mix of industry people and indie people. So you get a bigger mix and the expectation is a little more strict in terms of having takeaways from that. I think the kind of reflections that I'm hearing echo what I heard about Essence Fest, which is that like people expecting to go and like meet people that they can maybe collaborate with, brands, larger creators. Like there's opportunities for that, but it's also just like gonna take a lot more. And it is about like the experience of being around other Black professionals and Black creators and dressing nicely and enjoying the space. And I think there's room for both. I think what's happening this year and in recent years is people are putting expectations on these events that aren't in line with what the events are intended for. And I think
Mm.
people are feeling the economic stress a little bit harder. So if they're spending their money for something, they're expecting a lot more in return than just a good time, which again is not to the fault of the people who created CultureCon. And it's maybe not even the fault of the people that bought tickets. It's just a reality of like a misalignment between expectations and what the event is intended for. Like I hate that people are being so public about it on some level because it was a Black woman event. It's clearly an event a lot of people like to go to, and they've done a really good job of getting brands on board and keeping brands on board in a time like this, which is very hard, and getting really good people in the room. Yes, not everybody's going to get a photo with Morris Chestnut, Got it.
Ugh.
But if that's like your only thing, then maybe you need to recalibrate anyway about your expectations of like what it means to get something out of an event as
But I
well.
want to have it all.
Sorry.
I mean, for the price point for some of these events, I'm not mad at the expectation.
Okay.
You know,
I
some of
have
these things, especially if they're coming into town. I just wanted to. I'm sorry, Michelle. I'm gonna let you go, but I forgot
no,
about
no.
the networking part. That was one of the big complaints. Was like the opportunity to network wasn't there unless you
Yeah.
were in a VIP section or a VIP ticket holder. I guess that was the tier they had. But that was the impression I heard, and it was also the person felt like this was more like for influencers and people who want to show off and be like, "Hey, I'm here." You know,
But that has always been my
that kind of
impression
vibe.
on some
Yeah.
level. That's always been my impression.
So I have a totally different like I read everything and I've been and also just a broader view about what's been happening around the conversation specific to these Black Run events and 2025. And partly because I think there's also a misalignment with the moment in time that we're in. And I think that that is something that people are subtly there's a subtle expectation of the event, and maybe people aren't articulating it, but they're maybe in the back of their minds they're like, okay, so we're dealing with this fascism thing and we're getting together, and it can't just be about being fashionable. I think for people subconsciously, there are people who are feeling very activated, feeling very attacked, feeling very nervous, feeling very scared, feeling very unsure. And so they're going to these beautiful experiences, um, wanting to have a beautiful experience, but also thinking, well, is there a voting table? Is there an activation table, et cetera, et cetera? The problem that I think is also occurring is the fact that not everyone wants to be an activist. Not everyone's going to necessarily rise to the occasion or the moment that we're in because you feel like they should. Um, Maybe they don't feel like that's, and I'm not speaking specific to CultureCon or Essence Fest or any of these. I'm just saying sometimes um, where you get activated may not necessarily be the spaces that you hope. And I think there are people who are, I mean, to your point, they were able to keep their corporate sponsors, which has been very difficult to do this year. So maybe keeping things the way that they have been, which honestly, it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a really cool experience to go to. Um, if I had gone from Denver to there I'm looking at the ticket price for $200 because I wouldn't have paid the 400. I would have paid 200. I think I would have enjoyed it. I would, but I'm the type of person that is very clear around. If I'm going, I don't care what the event sets up. I'm going to set some shit up, right? So I'm going to figure out how I can speak to a few people. I'm going to figure out how I can um, connect in some sort of way. So a good example of that would be I'm a part of the Colorado Black Journalists Association. I'm part of that chapter. I've been a part of that chapter for probably like 4 or 5 years, but I've never been to the National Association for Black Journalists event. But I was in town when they were in Chicago a couple years ago that year. But I didn't have a ticket or anything. It's a ticketed event, but I was like, I'm gonna go. And they actually had like a couple of free like sessions and food, and I was like, okay. I felt a little self-conscious because I wasn't dressed up to the level I should have been, and I should have known better. But I went, I met people, then I went to the coffee shop, I met more people. And so I think sometimes, like, not even sometimes, I think if you're going to these experiences and events, you need to set up and figure out your own plan for activating the space on your behalf. You're the person who's designing the event cannot do the entire lift for you. And I think that's something that I find frustrating when I see all these people fussing at these folks putting together very complicated, very complex experiences, and they then the attendees are like, you have to do all the things. It's like, bro, you need to take some responsibility. You need to figure out what the sessions are. You need to figure out what your goals are. You need to figure out, like, if you're introverted, how can I bring people to me? Like, I just feel like we have to have some responsibility for how we experience a thing or how we move about in a space. Um, and and it's not all on the creator of the event. So I feel frustrated that yet again there's this very like I feel like there's some nuanced conversations and comments that I'm seeing. But I feel like moving forward, sometimes these some of this feedback just needs to be a little more like direct to the team. Just direct to the team, guys. And that way they can navigate around the things that they could do better, do, things that are going well. Because I have no problem going to see Morris Chestnut, but I also have no problem telling people, hey, I'm going to have a creators getting paid coffee meetup in New York because I know you're in my top 5 for subscribers to my project. I know this, right? Like if I go to New York, Illinois, um, I won't be going to Texas, sorry, Texas, but California. There's 5 places where I have a ton of people represented in my brand. So if I'm in those places going to an event, I'm gonna set something up low key so that I can make sure that I'm showing up in a way that aligns with my goals. That's not on that's not the responsibility of the event coordinator. So
I
I
think
mean,
you
that's
made
what
a
we're
good
doing
point.
that's what we're doing at Resonate, right? Angela, I gotta follow up with you on that. But we at Resonate in next month in Richmond, a bunch of us decided to do an event to coincide, with the conference, and we're already like at almost 50 RSVPs.
yep.
Way more than what we expected, and because that's people they want to be a part. They want to share the experience, a further experience outside of just the actual event. And I,
Mhm.
I I will say I am pretty surprised in New York, and um, I didn't hear much about it, and it could just be me. I could be in my own little circle, my own little silo right now. But I didn't
Mm,
hear a lot of people outside of probably who attended CultureCon or in my social media threads, because I saw a lot of people who did go to it. I didn't see like any company events. Like there wasn't like a meetup or here's the official after party or anything like that.
mm.
And I get it with an all day event. You probably was tired and stuff, but usually, especially here in New York, usually there's other accompanying things that are going on or people taking advantage of the people coming into town for this particular event. So I was surprised about that.
Coach
Yeah.
Ty was saying, we go to other events with a higher ticket cost with sessions not curated for us. Have a plan. And so
And don't
that would
complain.
be, yeah, like,
Wait, wait.
um,
Here's the thing,
I,
though. Here's the thing. I think it's interesting because, like, there will also be people who are speakers and who will get upset that they didn't make a way for people to, like, get on their newsletter with a lead magnet after their speech, or they didn't leave a way for people to connect with them after the event, and they'll get upset with the event organizers that they didn't get a lot out of it, or et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of agreeing with Michelle. I think if you're going to go to an event like CultureCon, there's plenty of media online that tells you what the experience is like. That gives you an idea of what the sessions are. They record all the sessions, especially the ones on the bigger stage. So you know relatively what to expect from an on-stage event. Um, and they've been doing that for years. This is not even a new thing. So to go to CultureCon and say, well, they didn't do X, Y, and Z, what's like, have they ever done that? Are you expecting them to change their whole thing just because you need something? We all need things. And I get that this is a precarious time. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we definitely
yeah.
need to organize as Black people, but that's never been the goal of CultureCon.
Mhm.
So if you want that, and they look like they had creators in the room that could accommodate that, find those creators. That's your job. They got the people in the room, honey. Tons of Black people, tons of Black creators, tons of Black creative pros, tons of Black people who work, in Netflix, Spotify, all these bigger brands. Like, there's no shortage of people who came that have huge audiences that would have loved to collaborate with you. On some level, if they have done the work to get the people in the room, there's only so much complaining you can do if you didn't do the work to meet the people you wanted to meet. And I said that as an introverted person. Like,
Yeah.
get over yourself at some point. That's why I say, like, I don't feel like people should have taken it so public, because some people are telling on themselves. Like, you did all that to walk away with nothing because you didn't make a plan to walk away with something.
Here's the thing, like, why aren't you emailing the people if you know that people are attending because people are sharing it on socials? Reach out. Hey, do you want to meet for coffee? Oh, you see that meetup that's happening on XYZ day? I have an extra couple of tickets. Do you want to meet up and do that? Like, there's just ways to facilitate connection within the context of an event that I feel like people are just nowadays just very reticent or reluctant to do. I live in Denver. I can't even imagine if an event was like this was in Denver. I'd be all over it. I'd be all day long. I would be exhausted. I'd be there all day long talking to everybody. I used to go to events. I used to go to like FinCon, and I would do what I would call speed dating, and I would meet as many of those attendees as possible. That was why I didn't have to go to events that much, because I met everybody. Did I know them well? No. Did I meet people that where it became a better connection and collaboration later? Yes, because I put in the work. And I told people, I was like, hey guys, I'm speed dating right now. I'm trying to meet as many people as possible. They're like, oh my God, Michelle. And so I would have people for years, not a year, years coming up being like, oh, Michelle, like, you met us at XYZ, because I made a point of doing it. I'm extroverted, but I'm not as extroverted as I used to be. Right. So it is, no, post COVID. And also I don't like a lot of people anymore. Like the fascists. But anyway, my point is this. Um, I put that work into it. Is it easy? No. But why would I leave my home and go 5 hours to freaking New York and, by plane, basically, not including getting to the airport and to the Denver airport? Like, it's a whole experience to even get to the place and not hustle my ass off. Are you serious? So,
Yeah.
yes. And Coach
This
Sai was
was.
saying,
Or,
I'm
oh.
gonna read her comment. That email list or absence of such is also apparent. Yes.
Yeah, I want to say, I think this was a debate I had a couple years ago in the BPA, where I was talking about how I noticed that people go to conferences. I don't think they know how to network.
Yeah.
I don't think they understand how to network. Because I know for me, like when I went to podcast movement last year, even though I have already established relationships with a lot of people, for me this was the first time I'm meeting a lot of people in person that are going to be there. And I took
Mhm.
the time to try to figure out how we could meet, whether we sit down and eat, whether we just catch up with each other, have a drink. Are you going to the Spotify party? Are you going to that party? Like, where am I going to cross paths with you so that we could sit down, actually meet? Um, Shoot, I even had somebody reach out to me and said, since you're going to be in town, I want to do an interview with you. And, I wound up going to a private room and doing this interview and stuff. And, so I don't know how you do it, Michelle, because that speed dating thing. When you said it, like I got all stressed out. I was like, talk to how many
I don't
people?
I don't always do that. I don't always do that, but that year I talked to easily more than 100 people. Like, I talked to a
But what
lot of
I
people
do
at that event.
sometimes what I'll do is I'll look at the list of people who are speaking and I'll try to find them on LinkedIn or get in contact with them, especially if I know it way in advance, try to establish some kind of relationship like over the next couple of months if if it's that far out. And just reach out to them and try to build relationships so that when I do go, I can,
Yeah.
hey, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes of their time or we cross paths and I'm like, hey, it's Corey, and they like, oh yeah, and maybe it turns into a natural discussion, which happened at Podcast Movement a couple times for me. So I mean, but I don't think people really understand. Even inside my own community, I'm noticing when we go do things, I don't think people really understand how to work the room. I know for me though, it's a thing I have to build up towards, and sometimes a lot of times I don't have the energy, and it's just easier for me to just go in a corner and or associate with the people I do know there. But I do try to. I think I'm going to try to be more like do like what you do, Michelle, and really work that room this time around.
I work the room, but like, here's the thing, I don't go to that many events anymore, right? So like next year I'm planning to go to the events I'm planning to go to tentatively are all overseas, right? And so that is a whole different lift because I'm also going to be dealing with different cultures, stuff like that. And so I need those things to make sense while I'm there, and I need the stuff that I want to have happen. And so I'm starting now thinking about where do I want to go? If I go, what's the price? If I go, who am I going to connect with? What makes sense? Am I going just to check it out? Like that's fine. But if I'm doing that, like is there some type of return later? So right now I'm thinking about going to Cannes Lyon, the event in Cannes. And I reached out to a creator who I'm becoming friends with, and I was like, "Don't you live near there?" Because I'm trying to figure out where do I want to stay. Like I'm just, and this is a person that I haven't met in person because they live in France. And so I'm letting them know, hey, I plan on likely being there. If I'm there, I want to hang out, right? And so, like, kind of to your point, solidifying that connection even more. So anyway, I wanted to kind of touch base on that because I thought it was of the moment and interesting. Um, I would love to go. I definitely have no problem trying to meet people and hustle, but I would also start now. Like I would also really start thinking about who can I connect with now so that by the time it's October or whenever they decide to have this again, if they do so, then it's not as heavy a lift to meet with people in person. And I'd have a cute outfit. I'm just saying. So with that being said, we're going to talk about low ticket products. Thank you guys for your patience while we kind of suss this last topic out. Um, what are your thoughts? Well, you know what? I'm going to ask a question to the audience. Do you guys have low ticket products that you sell? And that would we agree that's anything under like 150 bucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Dear audience, do you have low ticket products? Put a 1 in the chat or a 2, and a low ticket product would be anything under $150. So, um, we are curious to see what you guys say. And if you feel like it, let us know what that product is. You could say like a PDF, a book, what have you. So, while you're doing that, um, what are your low ticket products, dear co-hosts? Angela, do you want
That's
to
a
go
question.
first?
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, go for it.
'cause we always hear about low ticket and high ticket. Is there a mid ticket?
Yeah. Yes, yes,
I barely
absolutely.
ever hear people say that, mid ticket stuff. So
Yeah. Or they say mid-tier, probably.
mid tier. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What's the amount do so like
It's
150 to like 300. It,
Okay.
150 to 500 maybe. I don't know. I feel like
I
it
think
depends on your
300.
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Every
I guess you got to be careful when you say mid because if the audience is younger, they're gonna be like, "I'm not buying this. Is mid."
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh god. Yeah. But I can answer. I think right now my low ticket offer is literally just the ads in my newsletter.
Okay.
Um People don't necessarily pay to click them, but I get paid when they click them, and they're obviously under $100. So right now that's it. I think going forward, I'm probably going to make some newsletter templates for people that'll be like a low ticket offer, like definitely under $50. But right now it's just the ads. So we're doing the ad supported free newsletter situation for folks.
I want to clarify something about the ads. Angela is using what tool that helps her to do that? So if you could share that part.
Yes. Yeah, so I actually send on Beehive, and Beehive has an ad network that allows you to tap into advertisers and vice versa, depending on your newsletter ad parameters and the size of your list and your audience and things like that.
Would you, I feel like you would, but would you work with, like, would you do outbound pitches to work with a brand that would pay more than what you're getting for those ads now?
Yeah, I just set up a page in Notion that like has kind of our media kit plus packages. So I need to do some more outbound. But yeah, that's definitely something we want to do more of that I just need to get my life together on. But thank you for calling me out. Appreciate it.
What about you,
Sure.
Corey?
When you say ads are your ads are low ticket, is it how you is that based off of a month or day or how does that work? Because I would consider the ad space that I'm trying to put together on my newsletter low ticket, but because I'm giving it over multiple amount of time. So like whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, or whatever. But if it adds up, it's no longer become like if somebody buys it in bulk, it never doesn't become a low ticket item anymore, right? Is it does it
So,
work like that with you?
so I need to clarify. So I'm talking specifically about the ads that I get through Beehive's ad network, which
Okay.
are typically CPC, which is like pay per click, or CPM, which is cost per mil. So if we're talking about ads or like email sponsors that I'm going to seek out, those are not going to be pay per click or cost per mil. Those are going to be a flat
Okay.
fee. And those are going to
Okay.
be probably closer to mid tier pricing. So somewhere between 150 and 300.
To answer your question, Michelle, I don't have any low ticket right now. I kind
Yeah,
of
you do.
because
Your new
well,
your membership.
oh, which membership? The BPA? It's
Yeah.
not low ticket anymore.
Wait, let's
Anymore.
We
Wait,
let's
consider
talk
low
what?
about
ticket.
So,
what's happening.
It used to be on. It's not. I don't know how cheap you think it is to join the BPA today. It's not the same.
No,
We
but how
raise
much is
prices.
it?
It's 200 for the year or
okay.
25 a month.
That's low ticket. That's still low
You said
ticket.
under 100.
No,
You said
I
No,
would say
under.
that's
but
mid tier.
that's like mid tier. Yeah. That's
You're
Wait
talking
a
to
minute.
Mr.
You keep
Literal.
doing
You're,
that,
wait, hold on.
Michelle.
You're talking to Mr. Literal. So you said under
oh my
X amount of
lord.
dollars. So I'm like, well, I'm
That's a
good with
mid
that.
tier.
So
That's mid tier, Corey. Don't worry about
But
this.
are we
excuse me.
paying? No, no. Are we paying all at once, or do you have a subscription? Because I pay. I could have sworn that one of your products I pay monthly for, and it's like eight
It's the
bucks.
newsletter. It's the newsletter.
Okay.
That's what you. So that would be the low tier or the subscription to the newsletter. Um,
Uh.
I'm about to start revamping, restarting working on my course, and I'm actually thinking of doing like an audio only one that I would make a low ticket item. Um,
Okay.
Okay.
keep that as a low ticket. I haven't figured out if it's going to be subscription or if it's going to be just a one time fee. I think I'm going to go with the time fee.
Yeah.
Um, because I think that's the easiest and fastest way for me to get it out is just to do an audio format. And shout out to
Mhm.
Danielle Desir for it because she gave me that. Look, I subscribed to one of hers, and
Yep.
I was like, I could do this part. It's an easy build for me, easy lift for me. So I'm gonna probably roll that out before. I'm gonna see if I can get it done before for Black Friday. Knock on wood, pray for me, guys, because I don't know if I can, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, you got it for sure.
Y'all might just spend a weekend and
Um.
just do it.
That's what I did.
So here's my question: with um, what other products do you have separate from the consulting? Is it the course that you're building out, the newsletter, and the membership?
For me, right now that's all I have. Because I've taken on a new project with the BPA. I've kind
Mm.
of put a lot of things on hold because the direction of it in 2026 is going to be changing um, for the better. Um, so we kind of put a lot of things on hold because we're trying to work on some of the back end stuff, bringing on a team, and then from there figuring out what's the revenue and how we want to go about because part of the plan is products and services in that rebuild. So what's that
Mhm.
going to look like? What's the pride point? I don't know if you guys saw it, but I sent out a survey like a week ago. About to resend that out, trying to get a feel of what's how the membership, what they'll be willing to pay, what their wants and needs are, and stuff like that to help us figure that out. So we're more in like the investigative data collection portion of it before deciding like what's going to be what's the philosophy as well of what kind of products we want to put out, low ticket, high ticket, stuff like that. So yeah, I got a team now.
Okay. You kept saying we.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
it's not me anymore, and it's for the better.
Yeah. Um. So for me, one of the big things that how do I no, I'm gonna go back in time. So I started making content in the personal finance space. And because of that, I think that I have a very I've seen two different ways to approach making money online. I know a lot of people who've made a lot of money online. One of the things that I've always thought about is accessibility as it relates to the stuff that I'm selling. I have absolutely sold high ticket products. I personally, we all talked about this last week, but I personally prefer to sell high ticket products to like organizations and businesses versus what I'm selling direct to my community members, to consumer, to just regular people. So in my case, um, I should also mention that all three of us have been building out products this whole summer. So probably for the past 4.5, almost 5 months at this point, we've just been like grinding it out. It's been a lot. So in my case, I have built out a course called How to Make Money on Substack. So that is a low ticket course. It's in beta, and I've been testing it out with my students. I have a book that I was supposed to write last week, but I just hung out in the mountains instead. I was tired. But that book will be low ticket. I have a course that I used to sell that was mid-tier that I'm actually going to shift to low ticket. So this course I used to sell for like 245, but I think I'm going to sell it probably between it's going to be under 97 for sure. Like 47 and 97, probably 47. Um, I have the membership that I've built out because as I grew creators getting paid, it was very clear to me that it was evolving into a like a community space that I didn't want to host on Substack. Um, I wanted to have more of a newsletter on Substack and a membership off the platform. So I've been working on that and I've got that built out. So as a result of doing that, I'm opening up the paywall on the newsletter. So I have a paid tier, but no paywall anymore. I just don't feel like doing that. But anything where you connecting with me, if you're, if I'm doing coaching of a sort or workshops or webinars or anything where we're talking amongst ourselves, that's the membership. And so I think it's going to be actually a lot easier for me to like divide things and keep things kind of clear what belongs where by doing that. So why did I do this? Why did I spend all summer deciding to make all these low ticket products? Um, because the big issue that comes with low ticket products is scale, honestly. Like it has to, like there's just if you're trying to earn a livable income, a livable wage, what have you, the flip side to having, accessibility in low ticket products is scale. How many people are aware of the products that you're selling? So at literally starting now, like now, I'm in marketing mode. I don't need to build anything else. I'm not wanting to build anything else, with the exception of one last product, which will be a mid-tier product that I've kind of talked about before. Similar to Angela, it's like a course, but I haven't decided quite how I'm going to deliver it. Um, but now that I've built these things out, I'm able to send people to a thing. And so it's been really weird trying to kind of articulate why I've paused everything because I felt like I couldn't send people anywhere. Like you know what I mean? Like you're having all these conversations and you're sharing things, but there wasn't like a solution that I offered within my platform, I felt. So that was part of the reason why I built out these different products. But for me, I've been looking at the economy, which Angela brought up. I don't want to watch people's wallets, but I also don't want to um, not be mindful of the moment that we're in. And I just want it to be like easy on me and easy for people to say yes. Now, last week I said Jamie Wilcox, but it's Liz Wilcox. She is she's created a low ticket um membership where basically she shares like email templates. I think every week she shares like 2 templates, like something chill. And I have listened to Liz Wilcox. I hope to interview her because I love her story. But one of the things she says often that really resonates with me is that her life has a lot of heavy things that's involved in it. She's a mom, she's a single mom, she supports her mother financially. She's got shit going on. And she's like, I have a solution that I can provide, but the energetic lift, I can't do something that's $20,000 worth of responsibility, but I can do this low ticket thing really well. And if I'm sick, I can rest. And no one's gonna be like, oh my God, Liz, where's the email templates? It's like, bro, you paid $9. Like, you're okay. And so for me, just in this moment where I'm spending a lot of time managing my energy, like seriously, like just trying to manage my mood, trying to manage how I interact with people, trying to just be okay. I don't want to be overly responsible for too much, right? So I want to grow my business and I want to grow what I'm doing and I want to help the people that I serve. But at the same time, I need to do it in a way that's energetically aligned that doesn't stress me the fuck out. So I'm super excited about my membership because, and do you want to read that one? I'm super excited about the membership because I love connecting people. That's a thing I love to do. I have always done it. I was social chair. I was a student services coordinator where I connected people and helped them like learn about America. So it's a very easy thing for me to do. Coach Ty is saying low ticket offers always has her in a conversation with herself about providing value and not having the consumer feel like they didn't miss anything. I feel like that's a really, really important point because I don't believe that something low ticket is anything other than a low ticket product. Like especially I understand why people are nervous about value. But typically I purchased expensive things that were not valuable and low ticket things that were really valuable. So I think it just, you know, you have to be in conversation with your clients to make sure that you meet the brief. What do you guys
Can I
think?
jump in there with that one?
Yeah.
So I think like in their essence, we should probably talk about what should be considered low ticket, what should be considered mid tier, what should be considered high ticket. For a low
Okay.
ticket item, I'm not expecting it to be expensive. I feel like low ticket items should help me accomplish one thing. It's
Hmm.
why photography LUTs and film LUTs do so well with low ticket. It's why welcome sequences do really well. It's why newsletter templates do so well. YouTube thumbnails, things that help give me an immediate value without me having to do a whole lot. That's what a low ticket offer is for. I don't necessarily, ebooks, even something very
Hmm.
quick that helps me accomplish one very specific thing, right? Like Michelle's ebook on how to make money with ebooks. Like that's a very specific thing. I'm not trying to get a comprehensive course for less than $100. I don't think anybody should be trying to do that because courses are expensive. They're living documents. They're something that's going to be updated over time in response to student feedback. A low ticket offer, typically, I would expect to create once and then not really update. That includes Notion templates, like things like that. So, in terms of creating value, as long as you feel like the thing that you're offering provides an immediate effect, um, and an immediate help to like a very niche or a specific need, I think it's accomplished that. But if you're thinking about something more expensive, then maybe if you're thinking like the cost should also maybe be in conjunction with how long it takes to create and how much of your expertise it takes to create. So that's something else to think about there. But those are just my thoughts. Happy to hear yours. I don't know.
Thank you, Angela, because I was always struggling with like what is a low ticket, what isn't a low ticket,
Mm.
and you just helped me like narrow down my ideas because I tend to be one of those people that when I do stuff, as you guys know, I try to go off on this tangent and go wide, and then I try to figure out, well, how do I bring this down to a very simple thing, um, which helps me because now you just helped me with what one of the courses I'm trying to write right now. With I was trying to figure out how to integrate it with Notion, and I've been using a lot of Notion AI to instead of me actually physically building my databases. I'm getting better at using Notion AI to build out these templated like database hubs, and I'm like, hmm. Now I think I'm going to figure out over this week, and I'm going to figure out a real low ticket item that I could do at least through Notion with one of the things that I'm working on. So, hey,
Hey, hey, I'm
um,
happy to hear that.
I think another thing to consider is like how you build out the low ticket product, right? So like depending on the product, there's always an opportunity to upsell within the product. And I think that people kind of forget that. So like you could, write a book, and I'm sharing what I potentially might be doing. Write a book, but at the end of the book you offer a resource that people can opt in if they so choose and purchase after they've read the book. The low ticket product for most people is the tripwire. And I don't know if you guys hear, talk if the audience has really heard about tripwires or really thinks about tripwires, but for me, low ticket products are always a tripwire to something else. It could be a tripwire, it could even be content, it could be free stuff. So like I hosted an in-person event in 2019 in October. Went really well. It was awesome. Um, but people flew from all over the US and Canada to Denver for that event. It was ticketed, but I ended up crowdfunding to like basically cover the cost. It was I feel very proud of that event. But I could have, depending on the type of content, I could have been like, okay, well, now that you're here at the end, here's a coaching thing that I have to offer, which is not unusual. Lots of people like that wasn't the type of content or space for that, but suppose it was. You know what I mean? So I think that people, when you talk about something that's low ticket, to Angela's point, you do the thing, you do it well, deliver on the premise. But it doesn't mean that's it. It just means that's the beginning, right? It could be that you have an affiliate that you embed in that content in some sort of way. It could be that because you've built out a huge email list that external individuals or organizations are like, we'd like to do big ticket with you, you know, high ticket with you and sponsor your project. And then you could, that helps to kind of balance out the cost of these low ticket products. So I just feel like there's more than one way to design a product, and just because you have a low ticket product doesn't necessarily mean that the end outcome is no money. It just means that that's the tripwire that you've developed, and if you do that well, people might be open to other things.
So, like, I don't want to like seem crazy. I'm like looking down because I'm writing a lot of things because y'all are like reminding me of a lot of things I want to do after this. I just want y'all to know I'm not
same.
being.
I'm
So
taking notes.
I want to share more of just kind of how I'm thinking about stuff. And audience, you guys are quiet today. Why are you guys so quiet? I need more chatter.
Because they're listening. They're listening.
Are you guys getting something out of this? Maybe that's a better question. Is this making sense? Are you enjoying the conversation? No one's left, so I feel like yes, but we want to make sure that we are discussing things that you're thinking about, curious about. So if you have questions, thoughts, what have you, please do add them to the chat. In the event that because we want to make sure that we reflect on something that maybe you're thinking about developing a product and you'd like some feedback. We're happy to give feedback as well. Maybe you're nervous about developing a product. I think that it's been interesting for me to develop and test out different projects and products. I Because most people won't even start, so you're already like ahead of the people who won't start, right? And then once you develop or get a product out there, ultimately most of it is usually marketing, like sales is marketing, copywriting, and just making sure people are clear about what the product is. So, um, one of the things, all of us have been developing these products, and as we do these live streams, we have been intentionally bringing that up. One, because we've been working on all of our projects for like months now, but two, so that you guys would even know what they are, right? Like we can't just show up, you know, on Black Friday and be like, "Hey, we got like stuff to sell," you know. So we because one, it would be very difficult to convert any of those products to sales because no one would know what the hell is going on. So I think maybe a bigger conversation also is just how do we market the stuff that we've developed, and maybe how do we come up with these are two totally different questions, and how do we come up with the prices for the different products that we've created? Which one do you want to talk about first, like
Um,
prices or marketing?
let's talk about marketing.
Okay.
Was that
Um,
volunteering stuff? Okay. Uh, sorry. Um, so yeah, so for me, in terms of marketing, obviously, like I said, my low ticket is currently just um ads in my newsletter, and that is CPC ads or CPM ads, not necessarily ad sponsors that I've gone out to pursue that have come in. So for me, there's not a whole lot that needs to be done in terms of marketing as long as they're opening the email. That's the marketing. That's also the
mhm,
beauty of an email list. It's like there's a lot more I could be doing in terms of marketing other products. Like for example, with Beehive, I have a dynamic segment set up that where anybody that clicks a link is funneled into like that segment, so I know who like my most engaged people are. And so when it was time for me to send out a more targeted email for Community OS, which is my newest course, I could send it to my most engaged folks. So folks who have clicked a
mhm.
link, folks who have participated in polls, and then anybody who's clicked a link related to Community OS. So three different folks. And my open rate was like way higher for that smaller subset of people. That was about 1/5 of my list, so like 20% of my list, 20 to
Mhm.
25% of like my most engaged folks that were like on that. So we got a lot more engagement there, a lot more clicks. I think my click rate for that was like almost 8%, so higher than my typical 2 to 3%.
That's
Um,
good.
yeah. So again, like the interest is there. It's just about like crafting. Like I've been doing a lot of reading and just learning from the guy that made Right Message, which is basically like email personalization. It's like about sending the right message to the right person at the right time. Um, and so just basically leveraging personalization within your emails via segmentation to target the right people who are going to be the most interested in what you're trying to sell. So honestly, having an email list has just opened up so many doors for more targeted marketing, versus like me posting on LinkedIn into the ether and hoping that someone sees it and wants to buy it. Like it's like I talk to these people every week. They're familiar with me. They know who I am. They have questions. They can just respond to the email. It's great. It's a one-to-one conversation that I can do at scale. So that's been really awesome. Am I still going to post on LinkedIn? Yes. Have I still posted on LinkedIn? Yes. But I don't expect most of my conversions to come from LinkedIn. I expect most of them to come via email. So that's where I put just a lot of effort into personalization and just like creating customer onboarding surveys where people feel welcome. So, for example, everybody that came in through Danielle's Grants for Creators Summit, which was awesome. For me, I got about 60 new subscribers in a 2-day span.
Yes.
From that, I was able to set up a lead magnet for them that funneled them into my welcome sequence. So even if they are new to me, they have a really great experience with me off the top because they're being delivered a digital product from me free of charge. And then they're getting funneled into, hey, welcome. Here's a look around. Here's my podcast. Here's my YouTube. A couple of days later, hey, thanks for sticking around. What are you looking for? Here are some products that I offer. You know, talk to me if you need anything. Then a couple of days later, hey, you didn't buy anything. Is there anything we can help you with? If you're not ready to purchase right now, here are some other ways you can support. So just creating more targeted like touch points for people. I'm hoping that that's going to help increase retention. Another thing too that I've been looking at, all of us have had our newsletters for over a year now. And I think it's really important to think about how many people stay on for a certain amount of time. Like
Mm,
people that are on for more than 6 months probably care a lot more than the people who just started. They have staying power. If they've stayed on with you 6 months, they're likely still reading. They likely stab you in their inbox for a reason. they're going to be a higher person to engage, like somebody you should engage with more. That's actually what I was writing down. I was like, I need to create a phone for people who've been subscribed for more than 6 months, so I can like check in with them, let them know I appreciate them, get feedback from them, try to celebrate them as well. Um, so yeah, so I think I just said a lot of words about email personalization, which doesn't sound sexy, but I think it's important when you think about
Yes.
targeted marketing that doesn't feel like spray and pray and that feels like more of a sure thing where you can ensure greater and more personalized one-to-one conversation. So that's all for me. That's my spiel. Go email. Yay.
Corey, what about you? What are you doing for marketing?
Huh? Huh? Doing for what? I mean,
Boy.
the biggest thing is me. I mean, look, I'm not like you guys. You know, I'm still learning some of that stuff. But for me, market has just been me like utilizing all this different spaces I've been in and like promoting what I'm doing. We have the newsletter too, but I'm not trying to use that to like spam people with stuff. But I'm trying to figure. I am trying to figure out how do we integrate some of the things we're doing into the newsletter and make it valuable to our subscribers. But I haven't even gotten that far. I know it's me learning more about funnel systems and stuff and how to do like even with our newsletter, I've kind of like worked on like I've kind of used the whole onboarding process to help bring I'm practicing there, I should say, with the newsletter. So if you guys got an email, and I'm sorry, I'm working on it when you first signed up, but like I'm just trying to learn how to do that process better. Again, for me though, a lot of things have been put on hold because I'm bringing people in. So a lot of the things, the tasks are being removed from me and put into experts that are like, this is what I brought people in specifically to do. So it's which is kind of hard for me to sit on my hands because I'm kind of like I like to just jump in and start racing and like let's just figure it out as we go along as we build it. But I'm trying to rely on the experts that I'm now putting my life in their hands with. So that's why I don't really have much to say because like I said, which is interesting because we talked about earlier. One of you guys mentioned. I'm sorry, I call like a brain fart just now. But when you mentioned, I'll come back to that thought because I can't remember what I wanted to say. Uh, yeah, so that's it. That's where I'm at.
No worries. No worries. I want to bring up something about the email marketing and just like one, I wish you would not apologize for the emails that you send out. You don't actually send out that many. And I
Well,
want to
I'm not
give some
apologizing. I think I'm
yeah,
sitting
no,
out a
but
good amount. Oh,
but Corey
Corey.
just did. So I'm
Yeah.
saying this because he just did. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the emails that I got from Danielle and her team for the summit and just in general from the October 1st. I got maybe the 29th of September, 14 emails. I'm not upset about those emails.
Yeah,
I
that's a lot.
listened. No, but it's actually not because I'm on other people's lists and I get significantly more emails from Stu McLaren. I get a lot of emails from a lot of people. Partly I want to just see what they're doing, like I'm kind of dissecting what they're doing behind the scenes. But I get a lot of emails still from Express. Okay. I'm on their email list. I don't really shop there anymore. I need to get off the list, but I've been on that list on and off for since I was a young adult. Okay. So I want to like throw more like context around. Um, let us decide how much is too much. We'll tell you.
But here's the
But
thing, though. I want to jump in here for a second because this is also something I thought about with Community OS and with anything that I do. Jay Klaus is subscribed to what's his name, Alex Hermosi, and he said he got
yeah,
9 emails on the day of his like launch thing, and he didn't buy anything, but he didn't unsubscribe either. And I think for me, like you're saying 14, I'm saying damn, that's a lot. It is a lot, but I'm not saying she shouldn't have done it. My thing is
yeah.
like what Jay Klaus said and what you're saying is telling me like the risk of annoying people to the point that they unsubscribe, especially when they have already signed up to hear from you, is
Hmm.
relatively low. And if they unsubscribe, they were never going to buy from you anyway. So it doesn't matter. And for me, like when I sent follow up emails, and I'm going to send one tomorrow, nobody unsubscribed. So I think like I could send a lot more if I'm being honest. I could send a lot more about Community OS. And I plan on sending a lot more around the holidays. And we're going to talk about that later. But like, I think the risk for people being annoyed when they genuinely want to hear from you and they genuinely want to support you or even just learn from you, because I do that too. I'll sign up for stuff just to learn from people, like relatively low. Like it's a very low barrier to entry to annoying people that genuinely want to hear from you. So yeah, like, and I think there's a difference between us and like e-com brands like Express who are just going to spam you no matter what you do, not even
Yes.
based on, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least like the people that are emailing, like the Danielles, the me's, the yous, like, we're trying to go off your behavior. We're trying to go off how engaged you are already. You know, if you're opening and you're clicking, of course we're going to keep sending because it's working.
No, but Express is definitely following up on my behavior. I'm definitely funneled into certain things. I'm definitely getting certain types of coupons. So they're definitely doing the same thing in my view. But I'm looking at the number of emails that I've gotten, and they stay on. They Michelle, come, come
You know,
inside the store.
you made me realize. You just made Michelle. You made me realize I'm projecting because the minute you start sending me more than two emails in a day, I'm automatically unsubscribing and blocking you. Because it's just ridiculous at this
Really?
point.
I don't even have time for all
Six.
that. Oh
Which
my
is which is me
lord.
projecting. So me apologizing is projecting because I just been
Yeah.
on this blockety block mission the past couple of weeks. So it's like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. This is getting ridiculous. Especially as we get closer to Christmas. I'm just like, y'all are just ODing right now.
But see, I feel like this is a good segue actually because we are adults. Email marketing has been around for a minute, okay? It's not like we don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
And so I think that um this is a great point to talk about still marketing. Actually, let's continue with marketing, but then I want to talk about the holiday season. Like that would be kind of like the last thing. But so in my case, so right now I'm doing a holiday sales sprint, right? With my list every Sunday. I started it this week, on the 5th. We're covering a topic geared towards helping my community members prepare for the holiday season, the holiday sales cycle. And each week we talk about a different topic. And the idea that I had wasn't that I would tell people this is what you do, blah 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 blah. It's more of a here's a topic, let's discuss it, and then the people who are a part of that conversation can figure out what makes sense for them and their project, right? But in order to participate, you have to be on my list. It's for all my subscribers, whether you're free or paid. And now my paid tier, I will be contacting everybody, but my paid tier now moving forward, it's more like a buy me a coffee kind of situation because now I have the membership. Anyway, so I did that on purpose. One, it helps them. The whole point of my project is to help people get paid with the work that they're doing. But sometimes you need like a buddy. Not even some these days you need a buddy. You need a person to, you know, talk through ideas like we do with the three of us text each other all throughout the week. We share ideas. We do that with other people as well. But it's really, if you are trying to do this all on your own, it's going to be very difficult to do. Right. But I have a website, I have a podcast that are not Substack. And you better believe I have ads towards my products now. Like I am letting people know what is coming up. I will start doing that. I have already started doing that actually in the newsletter. Hey, this is coming up. The membership is coming. Doors will be opening soon because it's very likely that I am not going to open the doors during the holidays, like during November. It might be sooner than that. But if I were to just be like, hey, the doors are open to this thing, they'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I don't know what's going on. So within the content that I'm building out and designing, I'm making sure that I'm bringing this up. That's why all of us have been given, we have talked about this. We are supposed to be talking about our goods, our products, our services, because if we don't, who will? Who is to know what we are doing? If I go on to a podcast interview, you better believe whatever I'm selling at that point, I'm probably going to be sharing. Typically, actually, with a podcast, I'm probably going to be directing people to my list because for me, email list building is my number one activity, right? But and the reason actually is because you're dealing with percentages of people who are not going to be interacting with your content, even if they're on your list. So you're kind of adjusting for the percentage who are, right? So my goal is to grow my list. That is my number one goal. And then that way I can expand my impact and help the people that I'm trying to help expand theirs. It's like a ripple effect. But the number one thing I do is always focusing on my list. And it's really hard because sometimes I squirrel and I'm like, oh, I should talk about this. No, I need you on my list because then it's easier to have a targeted and more clear conversation with the people that I'm trying to be in community with, trying to uplift, trying to share their work with. And so, yeah, I I mentioned that I spoke with the author, fabulous author Nikki Payne. She is my guest for tomorrow's newsletter. In it, she kind of name dropped. I was like, okay. And she was saying that Kennedy Ryan, and if you're a romance reader, you know who this is. Kennedy Ryan had a phenomenal summer with her romance that came out this year. And her advice, her number one piece of advice was to grow your list. Okay. Because you can't sell to nobody. You just can't. Like, you have to grow your list. To me, it's not only community building, it's prospecting. It's both. And so for me, that is my number one um, way of also monetizing my work. So for me, what happened this year, which was very frustrating, was making the decision to kind of take some things off of Substack because I felt like there were some things I felt like would be in a better positioned elsewhere. And so I had to kind of pause growth in some certain ways because I had to figure out where does this thing need to be in order for it to make sense for me to direct people to that thing. But I could communicate that in my emails that I send out, my podcast. So I literally have a podcast episode saying why I moved my membership off Substack. I don't want to share that on the Substack feed. I think that's kind of ew. So I would rather share that directly elsewhere versus on Substack because I'm still using the platform. I'm just not using it for that one function, right? So yeah. So I market, everything's marketing. And now moving forward, the big thing for me is podcast interviews, which I love. I love podcast interviews. So that's where I'm focused. But I also sometimes will pay to advertise in newsletters. I do occasionally, not often, but I do. And I'm again in the Journalists Association, so I get local news coverage. Last week I was on CityCast Denver, which is a huge podcast throughout the US. They have different locations for CityCast Denver. A lot of my friends locally were like, "Oh my God, you're on CityCast!" And then they gave me shit because I said I hate burritos. So I I work really hard on getting out there and marketing. And I think this goes back to my earlier point about if you're going to go to an event, you need to show up, but you can't wait for other people to show up for you, right? So those are my thoughts.
Can I just hop in real quick because I just got a message. I want to apologize to everyone. I think I know why we're not getting stuff in the comments.
I'm
Apparently
seeing.
when I oh,
Wait, go
because
for it. Go
apparently
for it.
it's saying that only paid subscribers. I guess on my side only paid subscribers can comment. So I'm sorry to anybody. Which
Oh,
wasn't always the default setting. So I probably just skipped over that and didn't pay attention. So if anybody's stuff is if that's happening, I'm
oh,
sorry. We want so just if you have any questions or anything when this posts, just leave it in the comment section and we'll get back to you on that. So I apologize, everybody.
I forgot that
Yeah, I'm
that
slipping,
was a
dog.
setting.
I'm slipping.
Uh,
I did too, which is why I overlooked it. Because I usually keep my settings open to public. So I don't know. I gotta double check that. Make sure
Yeah,
Substack didn't change their default settings.
I probably did. If we're being honest, they change a lot lately.
Yeah. So sorry to everybody.
do you guys want to talk about preparing for the holidays and then like that's it?
Well, Well, we have been going over an hour, and we do have a dedicated time to talk about prepping for the holidays. So I think we should
Oh,
leave people in
when,
suspense. That's next
yes,
Tuesday
yes,
night.
yes.
Leave
I was
people in
like, wait a minute.
suspense.
I forgot about that, guys.
Look at that. She's trying
Can
to
I
go
say
another
something
hour.
about? Can I say something
No, no, no.
about low pricing real quick?
Yeah.
The low tier, whatever it's called. My brain is going fart right now. It's getting late for me. Um, remember I had a coaching client, and we were talking one time, and I don't want to say she's bougie, but she's kind of had the
She's
attitude of like,
bougie. You know she is.
I'm trying to be nice.
She's
I'm
a,
trying to turn over a new leaf and be nice about things. But we were talking. She mentioned she was very adamant about this, and and you said something earlier, Michelle, about like low price, and the value, right? And she was
mm,
like, she automatically rejects things if it's a low price.
okay.
Like in her mind, it's like not, and I think for me at the time when she said it, it kind of like I kind of put a break or I kind of slammed on my brakes about some of the ideas I had because I was like, well, which is not the most scientific way to collect data, but I was kind of like, if she's feeling like this, I wonder how many other people are feeling like this. And this is early on, so like now I just have an attitude. The price is the price, and this is why I'm doing it. Um, but it was I think for a lot of people that might be a concern is like how they sometimes you how they perceive value the cost of something in regards to value. Me, I don't. Sometimes, I mean, as somebody who buys like a lot of tech stuff, sometimes I've realized the most expensive stuff sometimes is the worst stuff to buy. Like,
Mm.
I could find me a really good microphone for $100. I don't need a $500 microphone. Um, a good pair of headphones. I love my Sony NDRs, right? Those are $100. Where I see people's blowing $400 on a pair of headphones, but these are tried and true headphones that have lasted over time. Yeah, like I'm
I didn't
speaking for
buy these
myself.
though. These are very expensive. But I did. You know
For
damn
no
well I didn't buy
reason, but
these.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying. So like, but it is. I think it is a concern for like people who are looking to get it, like looking to launch, and maybe that this might be their first time doing it, where they might actually be concerned. Like, if I go low ticket, will it perceived as like as something that's not really worth it? And I do. I just want to kind of like throw that out there for people, like what
I
you were
want
saying
to.
earlier about the value, the price, the value thing.
I think this is a really, really important point that you're making, and I want to say what I share with my audience around pricing. I make a point of sharing that, and hi to everyone who's joined, by the way. I make a point of sharing that as part of my brand, my core values. Actually, I personally say as accessibility as part of my brand mission and core values. This is why I price it in this way. That's it. If a person like this doesn't resonate with that, that's fine. She can be someone else's $1,700 project. Whatever. I don't care. I want people to be in the space that is comfortable for them, but I need to move in a way that is comfortable for me. I never want someone to come up to me later. First of all, I don't want to stress myself out. As Liz Wilcox has said many times in her interviews, she's like, basically the story she shares is she got like a $20,000 retainer or $20,000 project.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay.
what happened? Okay, that was weird. And she had to fulfill that, right? But fulfilling, I have been that person who's fulfilled a very large, project like that. It's very stressful. Um, Fulfilling 20,000 versus 10 is two totally different things. If I can fulfill 10 really well for 172,000 people, I'm great because their complaints are going to be pretty straightforward. But if I can't get the $20,000 worth of work right, that's going to be a headache. Okay. So for me, I'm very clear brand values, core mission, accessibility, and that's it. And if you're not about that life, I'm too woo for you. I'm too like whatever I'm thinking. I'm like the reason why I think this way is because I used to be a financial caregiver for my mother when she lost her job. And I can never like not remember that moment. And I know that a lot of the people that I serve are Black women. And it's probably around 60% of Black women will be a financial caregiver at some point in their lives. And I want us to be able to continue to dream and move towards the things that we want to move towards. And I'm not going to like try to rip you off or nickel and dime you or offer things that are too much for me as an energetic lift in this moment either. So that is why I'm like, this feels right for me. But you better believe if Experian comes my way again, because I've worked with Experian, and they're like, hey, Michelle, we want to, pay you XYZ like last time. Hell yeah. Yes, because that helps to like balance out what I'm charging these other folks. I also want to say I have a brand about Colorado. And I think this is important. I have a brand about Colorado. And what's wild about that brand is when I actually focus on growing that project, it's heavily affiliate marketing. It converts really well. It does very, very well. Like it's so easy. And so I also think about when I'm doing low ticket things, where are the opportunities that may not be front facing for this specific brand where I can make money that has nothing to do with the audience that you guys are seeing, right? So I think about that too. Like, what are other things that I could be doing that I can optimize, and that helps to balance out pressure on my audience too, because this is the most front facing project that I have.
Can I jump in here for a second in terms of perception? I know Coach Ty and Corey's client, you know, maybe based on price would count themselves out. Again, we need to talk about the purpose of a low ticket item. The purpose of a low ticket item is to give you immediate value to help you execute on something a lot faster than you spending the time creating the template yourself. For someone who's paying however much she was paying you, for people who are looking for high ticket programs because they perceive that to be more value, they're probably looking less for help on execution because they probably have people helping them with execution. They're probably looking for greater help with strategy
Yeah,
or planning. So there's a different purpose with each of these. You know, and I'm just trying to like help people perceive that. Someone who's looking for $1,700 coaching probably doesn't care about execution. They're fine with their execution. They're looking to make sure that they're moving as strategically as they can so they can get the most out of their efforts. Someone who's looking for a $29 Notion template or 1 hour audio course is looking to enact that information as soon as possible after they get it, after they pay for it. So a very quick return on investment versus coaching and consulting, that could be months before they realize the return on that investment. And they're okay with that because they're hoping for a bigger return based on how much they've spent. So again, just trying to get people to focus on what a low ticket item is, what it's supposed to do, who it's supposed to serve, and how quickly they're supposed to feel the impact of that money. It's supposed to feel like, yes, this is something quickly that I can do that feels affordable to me, that is going to help me do what I need to do fast. Yes.
I
But I
love this
I'm just trying to like
explanation.
help people frame
Yes,
things. Like, yeah.
that explanation should be in the textbook. Like that's just so good. I want to say from a creative perspective how it feels. I had a high ticket coach or high ticket coaching client a couple years ago. Now, this was during like the tail end of COVID. Everything was still stressful as hell. And I loved this client. To this day, I love them. But what they needed was a high ticket thing. And I was offering it. This was when I knew it wasn't for me. So we were coaching, everything was good. But for me, I was like, it's summer. I want to go to the mountains, but I have to like I'm in the mountains and I have to like show up and like from the creative perspective, my how available I had to be, there was a friction for me. I was like, I don't want to be available like this. I just want to dip in and dip out as I manage my mood. And so understanding that as much as I love the people that I serve, that these days I'm only able, like capacity is seriously a thing. I don't, I prefer actually group coaching. I love actually group coaching because to me it's a lot more efficient. Instead of like, I would rather charge people less and work with more people at the same time I love the flow of energy. I love how people talk. I love how like ideas go back and forth. I love it. Like I'm obsessed with it, which is why the membership is a good fit for me because I like the collective action and conversation and connection, right? The one-on-one, I like it's so much brain energy for me because I care so much that that person is getting their return, right? I care at any product here, but especially if I'm like, this is, you know, a black woman, I don't want them to feel like they're not getting their money's worth. All these things go through. It's a heavier energetic lift as the creator. When I'm doing, to Angela's point, providing a tool that helps people work through a thing quickly, that's great. I love it. It's so good. It's like done. I don't have to explain it 8,000 times because I put it in this one thing and you're good. I love that. So group coaching for me or a group experience is wonderful. High ticket one-on-one is so fucking stressful for me. And I have to say it that way. Sorry for the F bomb, but it just is. Um, Partly because I don't always want to show up. I wanted, like last week I was in the mountains. I just wanted to like hang out and sit in the hot tub and have some wine. And that's what I did. But if you're traveling, your high ticket client doesn't care. Like they still need for you to show up when you said you would because they paid that money, right? So I love developing products where I'm asleep, people find it somewhere on threads or whatever, they bought it, they're happy. They can do what they need to do, right? Other people thrive on that one-on-one coaching experience, what have you. I think ultimately, you know, in any business, you need to have tiers of products. Whether or not you have multiple items at the lower end and then a few at the higher end is up to you, or vice versa. But really being clear, like what lights you up, who you serve best, and the way that you serve them best, and what that looks like. I think for me, being just honest with myself and spending months on this, years, really, years, just trying things out. Like you have to try it out, you have to test it out. I've tried these things out more than once, and I love products. I love affiliate marketing. I love these quick wins for people. I love in-person events. Actually, I've been thinking about maybe doing one in Denver again in the spring. Um, I like there are things I love, but I
Invite
I
us if you do an
love
event, please.
what?
I said invite us if you do an event. You and Corey both. Y'all are
Hell
doing
yeah,
an event. Please invite me.
hell
Thank you.
yeah. You're invited. Please, you're invited. You're gonna be blowing up the balloons. So I'm
I'll
getting
be the
yard time.
word.
I'm getting
Damn.
yard time. But you know
Now
what I
you getting
mean?
put to
So
work.
but seriously, like those things I love. I love like being a host to people, to be honest. I love like feeding people and making sure they're happy and finding gifts. If you're selling stuff that does not light you up, stop selling that shit. Okay? Like unless your audience really tells you that's what they want. But I think that the friction is going to happen. So for me, I love low ticket. It's great. It's a much lighter lift for me energetically. And right now, that's all I got. Like there's too much going on. I can't do the opposite. That's me. I think that's it, guys.
Yes, we've been going for an hour and a half. 7 of y'all
Yes.
came to hang out with us. We appreciate you. Coach Ty, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out
Coach
with us in the chat. We're
Coach
gonna go
Dad.
ahead and sign off, let you get back to your Tuesday evening. And
Yes.
yeah, Corey, you want to start us off?
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Again, I apologize for the chat room mistake, but I'll definitely make sure next week it's not going to be that issue. I'm Corey Gums. I'm the founder of the Black Podcast Association, and I also am founder of the newsletter blackpodnews.com, blkpodnews.com, right here on Substack. So make sure you guys subscribe to that if you want to stay up to date on everything Black in regards to the podcast industry. And again, thank you guys, and always a pleasure talking to you, ladies, every Tuesday evening. So I almost didn't make it, but I canceled
Oh,
my event that I was gonna go to be here. So
you're so
yeah, I meant to
popular.
tell you that. No, no. just I completely forgot that it was on a Tuesday, and I was like, nah, I can't miss
Nope.
another week after missing last week. So,
Okay,
and I
New
actually
York.
missed it. So I actually missed it. So
Oh, it was a good conversation. It was good. What about you, Angela?
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. This has been great. I write Please Hustle Responsibly and Melanin MVP. If you're a creator, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit leader, everyday athlete, a women's sports fan, they're both on here for you guys to check out. Thank you guys so much. And please, please, please share this at the end. This was really great. And we've been getting a great response from people who have been watching the replay. So thank you guys so much for helping us reach more people. So
And finally, my name is Michelle Jackson. I run Creators Getting Paid. I ask creators how they get paid. I ask the nosy questions. I also share my journey of monetizing and really this year scaling the work that I'm doing. I run a project called Square State Colorado. So if you're like intrigued by Colorado, curious about it, want to visit, want to move, are deeply disturbed by Love is Blind, as am I, as am I. Um, I'm your person to chit chat with about that. So, thank you guys. Next week, we are talking about preparing for the holiday sales cycle. I think it's going to be a good segue from the last 2 weeks that we've been kind of prepping you guys. And I think my homework would be think of a product you would like to sell for the holiday sales cycle so that there's more context for you as we have that conversation next week. So that's it. 71 people. 100's coming.
thank you guys.
Bye
all right, y'all
guys.
have a good night.
Thank
Talk to
you.
y'all later.
Bye.